What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of That Boy ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and here we are with another character breakdown. And as you can see in the background, this time is for that boy, Star-Lord, baby. So let's get right into this. And again, we're talking about Star-Lord. He is a duelist with a difficulty of 2 out of 5. A base health pool of 250 and a movement speed of 6 meters a second, man. Now, if you like dealing damage to your enemies, Star-Lord will be perfect for you. He's one of the most suitable heroes for beginners as he's easy to get used to. He can fly around the battlefield and shoot in every direction. Unfortunately, he's not very good at killing long-range damage dealers because they can slam him down on the ground while he's in mid-air. However, as long as you stay in the sky and you manage to keep those opportunities open, you'll have no trouble not only surviving, but also wiping out a lot of opponents. Moreover, Star-Lord can kill almost any enemy in a 1v1 combat situation, and he can keep all melee heroes far away from himself and his allies, man. Now, Star-Lord's one of them duelists that will come, get a kill real fast and fly off, come back, get a kill real fast, fly off. He's basically going to be like that fly that's flying around your face in the house that you're always swatting at but you can't hit. That's basically what Star-Lord is, and that's probably going to be his best playstyle, man. While playing him, I'm telling you, you're going to have a lot of fun. It's really fun being able to zoom around with his abilities and then shoot real fast and then jump around through the sky. And I'm telling you now, you're going to be one of the most annoying flies in the game, man. But let's get right into his abilities. And the first one we're going to talk about is going to be his main attack, and that's going to be called Element Guns. And with this, you shoot enemies with dual element guns. This is a rapid fire shots with spread. They do 6.5 damage per round. The damage fall off begins at 10 meters, decreasing to 60% at 25 meters. After 2 consecutive shots, the spread increases to 0.15 meters. After 5 consecutive shots, the spread expands to 0.24 meters. The fire rate is 40 rounds per second. The ammo count is 40, and there is a critical hit on this, man. Now, as you can see with his main attack here, you will be shooting basically dual SMGs. And with this, they pretty much shoot in like a burst fire, as you can pretty much see as you go through your clip pretty fast. Now, with this, it takes pretty much one full clip and about 3 bullets to kill your base 275 to 250 hero. Or if you happen to get a headshot in there, 1 headshot and then a full clip should go ahead and put down the enemy as well. Now, when you're using these, you want to kind of shoot them, even though they're kind of burst fire already as they shoot them, as they go run through their clips extremely fast. You're still going to want to shoot this as a burst weapon yourself in short burst. So you kind of want to shoot maybe around 10 to 20 bullets at a time before you go ahead and stop. This way you're not getting that max crosshair spread, because you want to keep your crosshairs as tight as possible when shooting his guns. Now, is it possible to go down and just straight up hold the trigger with him? That is very possible, as if you have pretty decent aim and you're not far off, you should still pretty much hit all your shots on them. Just remember that you do get a lot of damage fall off the further you are. So even when you are flying off in the sky or shooting from a distance, you still are doing some annoying damage. And that's what I mean by you will be definitely be like a fly flying around in the house, man. So just make sure when you're using these, you are doing controlled burst shots and you're making sure that you have good distance so you're not losing too much on the damage fall off. Now, we're going to move on to his first ability, and that's going to be called Stellar Shift. And with this, you dodge in the direction of movement and swiftly reload. This has invincibility duration of 0.37 seconds. It has 2 charges, and the recharge speed is going to be 5 seconds per charge, man. Now, as you can see, when you use this right here, you will go into basically like a flip animation, and you will go ahead and flip in any direction that you are currently holding towards. If you want to flip to the left or to the right, you will hit this ability, and then on your direction you will hit left or right, and you will go in that area. You can do left, right, front, and back, just depending on where you want to go. Now, this right here also reloads your gun, so you can actually skip the reload animation with this ability. Now, again, when I reference you being like a fly in someone's house, imagine when you're playing, you will come in, shoot at somebody, hit this ability, you'll flip around in the air. You'll become invincible while you're doing this, so people can't actually hit you. And then when you flip, the enemy has to try to track you, and most likely will have to stop shooting and lose position of you. And by the time they regain their aim on you, you've already started shooting them. So with this ability here, you want to make sure you're probably taking advantage of this more often than not, as often as possible. Now, when you run out of charges, you do have to do your basic reload, but you will be okay for the most part. And as long as you're not spamming this ability, you should pretty much always have one of these when you need it and when you're trying to do it. So just make sure that this ability here, you always have one, and make sure to take out the time to really learn how to tactically use this, as this ability will make you, again, just like that fly in the house that can't nobody hit, even though they're always shooting at you, man. Now, let's move on to the next ability, and it's going to be called Blaster Barrage. And with this, you fire a frenzy of shots, causing damage to enemies within range. This is a spherical spell field. The duration is going to be 3 seconds. The range is an 8-meter spherical radius. The attack interval is 0.1 per hit. The damage is 8 damage per hit, and this has an 8-second cooldown, man. Now, as you can see, when you pop this, you will go into an animation in which you go into a frenzy, and in this frenzy, you will be shooting a multiple shots, and you will be hitting all enemies within a certain distance. Within that spherical radius, you'll be hitting all enemies. Now, this ability here is very, very good to finish off enemies, man. If you get someone extremely low, instead of going into either the flip or trying to go into the reload animation, you can go straight into this Blaster Barrage, and you can go ahead and finish off those enemies. Another good use for this is also if you're in a group fight and you notice that a lot of enemies are low, you want to go ahead and fly up, drop down, and then use this Blaster Barrage, and you should go ahead and be able to pick off a lot of the weaker enemies in group fights. So if you're up one of those Star-Lords that is happening to be flying around most of the time, as soon as you see that a lot of the enemy is weak, you probably want to come down, drop down inside the middle of the enemy formation, pop this ability, and you should be able to pick off pretty much any enemy that happens to be on low health. I do find this ability to be very fun to use. It looks very cool, and again, if you're flying around, hitting the flip, shooting people, and then going into this, I'm telling you, just the way the gameplay looks in general, they really, really did knock it out the park, I think, with his animations on these, as they look extremely cool. But again, this ability is very, very useful, as it's used to go ahead and quickly take out weak opponents, especially if there's multiple weak opponents in your direct vicinity, man. Now, we got to get on to his next ability here, which is going to be called Rocket Propulsion. And with this, you consume energy to gain a movement boost and soar forward. And with this, you get 100% movement boost. The maximum energy will be 1200. The energy cost will be 300 a second. And the energy recovery speed is 100 per second, man. Now, as you can see, when you pop this, you will go ahead and initiate your rocket boots. And on the right side of your cursor, you will see an energy bar. That bar there will let you know when you're about to run out of energy and you're about to lose your propulsion. Now, this ability here is going to be your main movement ability and allow you to be that fly in the house that I've been talking about. With this here, if you mix this in with this, his flip, and with the frenzy, I'm telling you, you will be flying all across the screen, and you will be the most annoying thing in the game, as you will be extremely hard to hit while putting out a lot of damage fairly quickly. Now, this movement speed here is probably one of the best in the game, as you get a good duration. I'm not sure the actual time, like from holding it down, but you get a good distance. You can go up and down. This is a very good movement ability, and with this, you'll be able to get into all those little cheeky spots to go ahead and shoot down on your enemies, to rain down on them, and you will also be able to use this to flank the enemy, to fly over the enemy team to flank them, or to go ahead and take flank routes extremely quickly. Just make sure, again, you are combining this with all his other abilities, including that flip and the frenzy that he has. And again, just look at the gameplay. When you see a good Star-Lord, you will just see the gameplay, and it looks amazing, man. So if you learn how to connect all these abilities into one, you will just, I'm telling you, it will look like a movie out there. Now, we got to talk about his final ability, which will be his ult, and this will be called Galactic Legend. And with this, you engage in a free flight and lock onto enemies in sight. This is a rapid fire projectile. The damage is 6.5 damage per round. The damage fall off begins at 25 meters, decreasing to 60% at 40 meters. The fire rate is 40 rounds per second. The ammo count is going to be 40. There is no critical hit on this. The duration is 8 seconds. Your movement boost will be 20%. Your reload time reduction is 70%. Your maximum locking distance will be 30 meters. Your energy cost will be 3,100. And for the special mechanic, during this period, Star-Lord's reload speed increases significantly, man. Now, we all know this ult here, as when you pop this, you will hear that legendary. And you will basically get aimbot within 30 meters of you. Any enemy that you look at, you will see a circle go around them, and you will automatically aimbot them. Now, when you're using this ability, you will remember that you still only have the 40 ammo limit clip, and you still shoot through it extremely fast. Now, when you're using this ability, you're definitely going to want to combine this with your Stellar Shift, which is the flip that you do, as you want to go ahead and reduce that reload time so that you're putting out as much damage as possible. So when you pop this, you want to go ahead and get your first kill on, and before you run out of bullets, hit the flip to go ahead and get that reloaded and go ahead and knock down and spray and melt the next opponent. Now, this ability here is very, very, very strong. Now, you want to make sure that you're using it at the correct times, as if you do not use them because you do not get any defensive bonuses or health bonuses with this, so you will be very vulnerable once you start doing this. So don't just try to run out on a whole enemy team and pop this ult, as they'll probably just melt you out the sky once they all start shooting at you. Now, you also want to remember that ults like Magneto are a hard counter to this, as Magneto's ult is able to suck up all your bullets. So if there is a Magneto on the enemy team, you really want to pay attention to that before you use this ult, as his ult will literally eat up your entire ult. Also, you want to watch out for probably any Lunas and Mantises, as their ults are able to heal a lot of the people before you're able to put them down. So just remember, with this ult, you want to use it probably after you've seen most of the enemy team use ults that are hard counter to your own. But overall, I think this is a very, very good ult. Very easy to use, and it can actually turn the tides of a fight extremely quickly, man. Now, the last thing we need to talk about is going to actually be his team up, and that's called Leader Soul. And with this, Adam Warlock enhances the rebirth power of Star-Lord and Mantis, granting them the power of Cocooned Revival. This is on a 120-second cooldown, and during this period, Star-Lord enters a free flight state, and you need Adam Warlock in order for this team up to work, man. Now, as you can see, when you have Adam Warlock on your team and you have this team up ability activated, when you die, you will get the actual astral form rebirth that Adam Warlock gets, and you will see yourself in astral form. Now, be aware that the enemy can see you clear as day, so you aren't invisible to them at all. Now, when you enter this form, you will be able to basically move around and find yourself a place to go ahead and be revived. Just go ahead and make sure when you revive yourself that there are no enemies around, as if they are, as soon as you come out of your revival, you are most likely going to end up right back in respawn. So just make sure that when you use this, that you're able to fully get away from combat before you take advantage of it. Now, Star-Lord all in all is a very, very good DPS in my opinion. He has one of the stronger team-ups with Adam Warlock, being that he can be revived, so that's strong. He also has one of the better ults in the game, even though there are a couple hard counters to it. His ult is very, very strong and can definitely turn the tide of any fight in any game at any moment. So a good Star-Lord, again, is going to be that fly that's just in your house that you can't kill no matter how much you're shooting at him. With his movement, his invincible flip, his frenzy, and his elemental guns, he should be a nuisance out there on the field for the enemy team, man. So make sure when you go out there and you're playing Star-Lord, you're having fun and you're taking advantages and combining all his abilities and going out there and becoming legendary, man. But this has been another one of them character breakdowns, and I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at DatBoy ETV. V. Now, catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.